Normally I do a workshop and somebody comes and they'll videotape it and I'll share that. This one's different this week. I did a workshop, but it's all the stuff that led up to it and the people who came. It was a very special workshop. It wasn't my best attended workshop. It wasn't one where I sold a lot of books and got a lot of attention, but this one was special nonetheless. And the people who came rewarded me for going through the effort. I got a call several months ago from a young lady up in the Portland area, actually Beaverton, and she wanted to know if I would come up there and do a workshop or a talk. And I told her, well, I said, if she wanted to put something together, I'd come up there. And she did just that. And she was concerned because she hadn't done a workshop before or set up any of these kind of events. And she was concerned that nobody was going to come and she was having a hard time advertising it. And so there was a lot of questions going into this thing, plus the suicide of my nephew last week. So I had kind of mixed feelings about driving from the Sacramento area all the way up to the top of Oregon, about 10, 11 hours on the road. That's quite a commitment. And so I had these doubts. I'm going up there, nobody's going to be there. It's a lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of physical driving time. Uh, but intuitively, I knew that I had to be there. There was somebody or somebody's there, no matter what size the audience was going to be. There was people there that needed my message. And so I was following my intuition. My intuition says, go. I didn't have a good reason to go, but I went anyway. And if you follow me on this story, it's humorous, it's inspirational, and it's awe-inspiring, all in that. And if you like this video, click like, subscribe, and hopefully I'll do some more of these. So let me go back to the journey. I left Friday morning at 4 o'clock in the morning and had this long journey ahead of me. And I left and passed through Sacramento, and I'm just outside of Anderson, which is just below Redding. It's about 3 hours from my house. And I'm having these doubts like, well, I'm going up there. Why am I really going through all this trouble? And even the lady that organized it said, Bill, if you may not want to come, you might want to cancel that. I said, no. I said, even if it's just you, well, I'm coming. But I needed a sign. There was a part of me that says, God, give me a sign. Am I doing the right thing? Am I wasting? I need a sign. And that's what I said. I was a few miles from Redding. And the idea was if I didn't get a sign by the time I got to Anderson, the town of Anderson, um, I was going to make a turn on Balls Balls Ferry exit. I've been on that road before. You can exit off it. You can get back on the freeway. And I thought, well, if I don't get a sign when I get to Balls Ferry, I'm going to make an exit, turn around, and 2 or 3 hour drive home. And I was seriously entertained. And I said out loud my frustration, okay, give me a sign. And as soon as I said that, literally within less than 30 seconds, I look out my windshield and I look out the side window, and there's this gigantic billboard, like for an advertisement. And it just says on this billboard these words, this is a sign. I'm going, whoa, yeah, and then I go, no, come on, I'm asking for a sign. I didn't ask for anything specific. I mean, I asked for a sign. That's all I asked for. I mean, back in my head, I thought, well, maybe I should ask to see a bald eagle or something that would really, bring the point home dramatically. But I just said, give me a sign. And so I get something that says, this is a sign. And I'm going, not, not good enough. And then just as I said that, had those thoughts, about 100 feet later, there's a second big billboard. And on this second billboard, it says, ready for this is another sign. I'm going, well, God's got a good sense of humor. And so I accepted that, okay. So when I got to Balls Ferry exit in Anderson, I just passed it by. I kept going. I figured, okay, I'm going to be there. And no matter who shows up, what happens, I'm there. I knew that I needed to be there for whatever reason, and I wasn't sure, but I knew people were going to be there, even if there were only a couple. People were going to be there that specifically were looking for something I had delivered to them, a message, comfort, love, whatever. So I get up there. I'm early. I go to the Beaverton Public Library. It's a beautiful place. I walked around there and checked everything out. It was beautiful. Then I met my friend up there, and she, we did a dinner together, and a very small dinner, but mostly just conversation. And I found out her background. She used to live in Hawaii. She moved from Modesto to come up there, so she knew where I was talking about when I mentioned Elk Grove. She knew where I was from, and the fact that we both lived in Hawaii. So we were hitting it off on a lot of things, and she was telling me her personal stuff and her at what she was trying to achieve in her life and her aspirations. It was a wonderful conversation. I was glad I was there for her. And then I went to a hotel room, and next morning I got up really early, and I going, yeah, I'm gonna go down to the library. I knew it wasn't open because it didn't open until like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was really early. But when I got there, there was a farmer's market that was taking place, a community farmer's market. It must have had 200 booths selling everything from local honey, olives, cheeses, mushrooms. Yes, there was even marijuana stuff. But there was all kinds of fruits and vegetables, everything you can name. And then there was people fixing breakfasts. It was a really, truly, with a group of very diverse people being up in Oregon. It was all kinds of people. And I was enjoying it and the beautiful sunshine. And I sat in a chair listening to, they had a little orchestra that was playing there, a community orchestra, a little band. And they were playing some nice songs like theme from Star Wars and things like that. And Rocky's theme, from the movie. Um, and a guy sat next to me. And when he sat on the chair, he fell off the chair and he hit the ground. I offered to pick him up, and he go, "No, he got it." He was skinny, he was a little underweight, and he had tattoos on him, and he didn't look healthy. And within a minute or so, he starts the conversation up with me, and in 2 or 3 minutes, I learned a lot more about this person than you could think you could learn in 2 or 3 minutes. Tells me he's got stage 4 cancer, and it's metabolized, and it's spreading all over his body, and he's in great pain, and he's got 3, 4, 5, 6 months left to live at the most. And then he tells me he had a daughter, she died, and he's looking forward to meeting her when he goes. And then he goes into all this stuff, how he moved up there from, ready for this, from Anderson, and he lived right off the exit that I was going to go on, Balls Ferry exit. And so I start to tell him the story about, asking for a sign, and I told him, and then I look out there and there's this billboard, and it says this, and he goes, yeah. He says, then there's another billboard that says this is another sign. I go, wow, I wasn't delusional. It really happened. It really took place, and and then I find out that his family's lives right on that exit, Balls Ferry, and so just the fact that I'm going by that and had mentioned it meant a lot to him. It was like, wow, this is interesting. It's kind of a coincidence. And I'm telling him there's no coincidence here. And so I took that whole thing as a sign, although in my heart, I'd actually wished for seeing something more specific, like a bald eagle flying or something would have been more dramatic. There's a sign, there's bald eagle. So I'm sitting there talking to him, and all of a sudden, we're all looking up, and about 25 feet over our head is this beautiful bald eagle. I mean, there's no mistaken identity. It's it, and everybody at the farmers market's got their camera out, and it's circling over the two of us and the group there by the band, and it's 25, 30 feet. It just kind of circles around for about 10 minutes. And I go, okay. I got a sign, which was a sign, and another sign that was another sign. And now I've got the unspoken, unasked for sign was a bald eagle. There it was over the two of us. So he went on and he was telling me all the stuff he was doing in his life. And I was telling him, I said, I'm doing an event at the library. It's just about 100 feet away from where we're at, maybe 200 feet at the most. It's, maybe a minute walk, 2 minute walk. And I said, in the next hour, I'll be over there. You come be my special guest. It's free. We're dealing with healing and all this stuff. And, maybe we can do something for what you got going there. But uh, I got a clue right away that he wasn't looking for miracles and he was more interested about going on and talking to his daughter on the other side. But I had him for that limited period of time. So I knew he wasn't going to come to my event and I didn't want to do hands-on anything there publicly. So I just gave him a lovely look and gave him energy and love and a silent prayer. And I said, you're going to be there, but I knew he wasn't. And he said, well, I'm going to try. Anytime somebody says they're going to try to be someplace, that's a polite no. But it was okay. I did my work. We connected. And then I got up and he started talking to a couple that was sitting on the other side of me, tell him that he had stage 4 cancer and that he was dying, and tell him same story he told me, he told them. So I had a feeling that he was more engaged with telling his stories than about looking for solutions, and certainly wasn't looking for a healing of any kind. But he was comfortable with it, so I let it go. I gave him my prayers. I knew that was a connection. If nothing else, there I was sitting in this market, which I had no intention of going to, and we discovered each other. So then the event takes place, and the library didn't do any advertising. They didn't put it online. They didn't put up posters. There was nothing in the whole town. Nobody knew it was happening. So I had a very, very small attendance. One guy, though, came all the way from Seattle, Washington, specifically to attend. So I had this small group of people. It was probably the most highly advanced group of a small group of people that I've ever had. The energy in this group was amazing. And so I gave them stuff I don't normally give others. And we covered things and we got some deeper subjects. And then it was time to go and I drove home and I got home and I started thinking about it all and thinking, I went up there with the intentions of helping everybody, but along the way, I discovered the joy of the divine experience, seeing my sign and the other sign, and then the unspoken desire to really see you, bald eagle. That was a beautiful gift. And then to have these people come that were so attentive to every word I said, they really, truly listened. Blessings and peace to them and my love. So it's not how many people show up at an event, it's who. And like I told these 5 people, I've seen their faces before. They were supposed to be there. And when I saw them and they were occupying the same space with me, I was pleased. I was pleased they'd come. I was pleased for me that I could give them some information. So thank you and blessings. And if you're out there looking for signs from God, be more specific. Don't just ask for a sign. Ask what you want the sign to be. In my case, I just asked for a sign and I got a sign and then another sign. But God in his goodness and divine grace, I was given a bald eagle as well. So, all right, that's the lesson for today. Be careful what you wish for, be specific, and God will give you what you need. God bless.